Hey, it is Thursday, so you know what that means. It is Think About It Thursday. My name is Sergeant Snyder. I want to keep this tradition going. If you didn't see my first video, I was doing it when I was on the road, kind of explaining that usually I'm always on the road and I'll make my videos from the road. Obviously, you can tell I'm not on the road. I'm here at home. I didn't get to spend too much time on the road this week, so wanted to still make this video, still wanted to make sure I was doing my Think About It Thursdays, and this was really something that was weighing on me, and I've kind of run across a lot with being a recruiter and just in general, even with friends of my own, is think about what are you afraid of? That's my think about it moment today. And what I mean by that is I don't mean like what are you afraid of, like oh gosh, spiders. By the way, I hate spiders. But that's not the stuff I'm talking about. I'm talking about what's the stuff stopping you from succeeding. What is it that you're so afraid of? A typical one, in my opinion, my number one is disappointment. Disappointing either myself or disappointing people that mean a lot to me in their view of me. That's a big fear of mine. I try to use that actually. I try to use that fear to succeed. I try to make sure that I'm always doing the right thing or trying my best to do the right thing, or at least in my eyes do the right thing. But some that I run across that my personally don't really see, but I see a lot of other people have, is failure, which fearing failure is very common, but at the same time, know it's going to happen. The best thing I can tell you about failure is learning from it and trying to do your best to not have it happen again, especially if it's the same failure. If you're having the same failure, you're not doing anything to change, well, that's the reason why you're going to keep experiencing failure. You're not learning from it. But you shouldn't fear it. It's going to happen. Just adapt, learn from it, move past it. And then the second one, and I would say the biggest one I run across, is the fear of the unknown. I run across this all the time as an Army recruiter. You're making a big commitment, right? Typically, you're a high school student, or even if you're all the way up to a 30-year-old that's looking into the Army for the first time, you can only know so much, right? We can sit down, we can talk to you, we can show you the pamphlets, we can show you everything, we can tell you our experiences. But at the end of the day, it's going to be you going through it. And you're not going to really experience it until you experience it. I mean, there isn't a virtual world where you can just go see the Army experience. You got to experience it yourself. And that's the fear I would say a lot of people run across. And that's just obviously one example of it. But I see it for other things too. People are always afraid to do something because they fear they're either going to fail or they don't know how they're going to do. They might not succeed, but you don't know. You just have this built up idea that this is going to happen to you. So my think about it moment is, what are you really afraid of? Is it something that's there? Is it something that's tangible? Is it something that you truly understand, or are you afraid of something that you're just building up in your head that you really don't have a fear of, but in your head it's just terrible. It's gonna end badly, and it might not. I want to close this one with a story. It was a while back. I was at my parents' home back in Richmond, Virginia. I was teaching my niece how to dive into the pool because she really wanted to learn how to dive in the pool, and I'm really tight knit with my niece. She asked me to do it because I was home for a summer vacation. So we were in the back. We're at the pool. She could already swim, so I wasn't worried about the swimming part, and I just was definitely afraid of going under the water. So that unknown, right? That going under. She never really had to do it. She always liked to float on top. She either had the floaties on. She was at least past the floaties. But she just was afraid of diving. She wanted to know some ideas. What should I do? And just like getting her to try to understand it. Like, hey, you're just under the water for a minute. You come up. And it seemed so simple to explain, but it wasn't clicking because she had never experienced it. It was unknown to her. So my grandfather was also home. He's from New York. He came down to Virginia. We just kind of at the same time, interlocked times. And he's doing laps in the pool, right? He sees me over there. I'm trying my best to get my niece to, hey, you just got to do it. You gotta try to do. You gotta hop in. And I'm not finding the right words to motivate her. And my grandfather comes over. He's swimming. He sees her, comes over, and he says, "Hey," and gets her attention. Yes, Grandpa. And he goes, what is it? What are you afraid of? And she tries to explain it to him just like she has with me under the water. I don't know what's going to happen. And he's like, is it just being afraid that's stopping you? And she kind of looked at him like weirdly, and even I was a little confused. Like, yeah, of course, yeah, she's afraid. That's the reason why she's not doing this. And he said, there's nothing wrong with being afraid, but find that fear and do it anyway. And as he did that, as cheesy as it is, he went down under the water and he swam from one side of the pool to the other and he popped up. My niece literally looked at me and all I said to her, I was like, you know, that's what bravery is, right? Bravery is being afraid but still doing it. And without a second thought, she dove into that pool. She came right back up. She was big smile on her face, swam over to the edge of the pool, came back to me, and she said, I have no idea why I was so afraid. So that's all I got for you. That's my Think About It Thursday moment for you is really find out what it is you're afraid of and make sure it's a real thing you're afraid of. And then if it is, try to overcome it. Or, you know, comment below. Tell me what you think. Shoot me a message. You know, I hope this was a fun one. This was a little longer one. I'm trying to make these no longer than like 8 minutes. That's really why I want to keep this. And I thought this was a great one. This is really something I've run into a lot, is people being afraid of things and like they just can't put it into words. In my opinion, at the end of the day, sometimes it's just the fear of the unknown. So, hey, Sergeant Jordan Snyder, that's what I want you to be thinking about it on this Thursday. But I'm signing out. Peace!